Most traders think the chart is telling them everything. But what if we told you the candles are lying?
You calling me a liar?
I ain't calling you a truther.
Hidden beneath them are the real battles, where massive orders pile up, where pressure quietly flips, and where the market tips its hand before anyone notices. That's exactly what this tool reveals. The Volume Bubbles and Liquidity Heatmap lets you see real participation on any chart, surfacing true liquidity zones and exposing the biggest bursts of volume as clean, color-coded bubbles. In the next few minutes, we'll show you how it works, how to set it up, and how to use it to dodge weak levels and time smarter entries. Let's dive in. Volume tells you how active a market is, but on its own, it's flat. What we really need is context. Where that activity is concentrated, who dominated, buyers or sellers, and when that flow shifted. Traditional volume bars can't answer all three, and manual profiles take forever. This indicator combines both worlds. First, it paints a liquidity heat map across price, so you can instantly see strong versus weak areas that often behave like magnets or walls. Then it plots time-boxed volume bubbles that summarize the session you care about. A day, a week, even intraday slices, so you can read participation at a glance, spot traps, and plan around the real battlegrounds instead of guessing from candles alone. That's the edge. Clarity, speed, and better location selection. Add the indicator and two things appear immediately. Behind price, the liquidity heat map builds stacked horizontal cells. Thick, brighter bands mark high liquidity zones where volume accumulated. Faded bands mark thin areas where price often travels faster. You'll notice these zones extend into the right side of your chart, giving you forward context for reaction, rejection, or continuation. On top of price, volume bubbles drop in at the cadence you choose. Each bubble anchors to the median of its window and scales by total traded volume inside that window. So bigger bubbles equals heavier participation. You can display total volume as a single bubble, buy and sell as a split bubble that shows both sides in one view, or delta to spotlight which side truly dominated. Optional labels print the exact size in human-readable units, and vertical dashed separators mark where one bubble window ends and the next begins. Great for scanning session by session. Now, let's step into the settings, because a few options completely change how this feels in practice. Under bubble mode, pick total, buy and sell, or delta, depending on whether you want simplicity, side-by-side flow, or dominance. Bubble time frame lets you anchor bubbles to higher time frame sessions. For example, plot daily bubbles on a 5-minute chart to see intraday action relative to the prior day's participation. Bubble size percent controls how large bubbles scale, while bubble shape adjusts vertical stretch, so you can keep things compact or elongated around price. For readability, label display and location lets you print values above, inside, or below each bubble. Then, for the map itself, heat map rows and cell minimum size balance resolution and smoothness. Higher rows reveal nuance, larger minimum size keeps the view clean. Tweak colors last so strong and weak liquidity pop on your theme. Together, the heat map gives you location. The bubbles give you participation and timing, a fast, visual way to filter noise and pick smarter levels. Now that we understand how this indicator works, let's put it into action. For this example, we'll look at Solana on the 30-minute chart with our volume bubbles set to the daily time frame. This gives us the ability to trade intraday setups while still accounting for the overall daily volume from the prior session. The first thing we want to notice here is that yesterday left behind a volume imbalance. There were more sellers than buyers resting at this level, and one of the high volume areas in particular stands out. Our focus is on that zone, but just seeing price tap into it isn't enough. We need confirmation before we commit to a trade. For this, we'll use the LuxAlgo Signals and Overlays toolkit, specifically the Smart Trail. The Smart Trail is a trailing stop that expands and contracts as volatility changes, which makes it an ideal tool for spotting sharp reactions in price. In this setup, we'll disable the confirmation signals and candle coloring, since those won't be necessary. Now notice how price and the liquidity zone align perfectly. As price pulls into this level and begins to react off it, the Smart Trail gives us the confirmation we need to execute. Once that happens, we place our stop just above the Smart Trail and set our target at another liquidity zone that offers at least twice the reward compared to what we're risking. That's the complete flow. Identify the imbalance, wait for the pullback, confirm the reaction with the smart trail, and then manage the trade with stops and targets in place. That's the volume bubbles and liquidity heat map, a clear way to see where volume actually accumulated, when it shifted, and how buyers and sellers battled at each step. Use the heat map to anchor your levels, then read the bubbles to judge participation and bias before you pull the trigger. You can add it to your chart right now from the LuxAlgo library. If you want even tighter execution, combine it with signals and overlays for confirmations and management. This will help you trade with conviction and keep risk in check. You can try our premium toolkits risk-free for 30 days at LuxAlgo.com. Trade smart, manage risk, and I'll see you in the next one.